Joystacks.ai. What do you think? You know, if you guys would just speak up, we'd be able to start communicating a little bit better. Anyway, go to. Yeah, absolutely. Well, they can always go to meetthedrapers.com and then they can look and vote and get involved and be a part of it, and then we'll have a feedback loop. But let's bring on our next entrepreneur. But before we do, let's see what's going on behind the scenes.
We're funding
All right, this is Shruti Singh.
Good evening.
Founder of, Shruti Singh, founder of Terra BioWare.
That's right. I am a former expert in global intelligence and strategic risk, and I remember the time when I was evaluating the gap between climate risk and technology solutions and falling back into my chair. One such critical gap that exists is toxic petroplastics. We produce 450 million tons of this material every year, and right now it's present inside all of us, triggering the risk of serious diseases. On the other hand, plant-based bioplastics are 3 to 5 times more expensive, limiting their adoption. So, following the passion for my circular biomaterials, I set out on a mission to make them scalable and affordable. Today, our novel technology transforms carbon emissions into PHAs, natural and safe biopolymers. In the last 14 months, our microbial technology has also achieved 2 times higher biopolymer output than plants, and we've also taken it from lab to industrial scale.
So you've made this and it's just as cheap as the plastic stuff?
We're doing you better, in fact. So Terra PHA acts as a biomaterial platform. It's divided into 3 verticals. We converted it to specialty biochemicals that have anti-aging properties for cosmetics as well as nutraceuticals. They have high biocompatibility and promote faster recovery when used in surgical implants. At the same time, they mimic the properties of several petroplastic grades that you and I use every day. In September 2024, we pre-launched our specialty biochemicals.
Now you saw back all present. How are you different from what they're doing, and why are you better?
Right. So my mission was to actually make biomaterials affordable and globally scalable. So the technology is designed with a feed which is globally available, it's inexpensive, so there's cost reduction there. At the same time, the biopolymer that we're using right now, if you look at the scientific literature, is able to produce about 250 grams per liter of biopolymer, which is the highest right now. It's not possible for any of us to find a strain that produces that amount of biopolymer, which again brings the cost down. And at the same time, we understand that it will take us time to scale up and really be able to disrupt the petroplastics market, which is where high volume applications are. So what we've actually done is that we've gone deeper into the biopolymer, right? Done a lot of research, and now we have understood that if we convert them into specialty biochemicals, we are able to use them for high value as well as high value applications that have higher margins for us as well. Right, and they have high performance
So you can
properties.
make them now cheaper than the plastic model.
That, and we're able to sell them for a higher price point because they have properties like
Have you made
anti-aging.
any, and have you sold it for cheaper?
Yes. And
Who's your customer?
right, so we're working with L'Oreal right now as well as Unilever, where they're utilizing Terra.
So what are you doing with Unilever?
What we're doing with Unilever is that right now they've taken samples from us and they're doing their own internal testing and developing formulations that eventually would
What products would they replace?
Right. So for TerraGloss, they're right now testing it in cleansers as well as sheet masks. There's a smaller startup company also that we're working with that's specifically working on sheet masks.
Yeah, quick question. By the way, what you find interesting, they're both Shrutis and both going up to plastic.
Yeah.
They're the same person.
Oh, that's great.
That is interesting.
We're based out of the same campus as well.
Maybe you were listening to the same professor when you got sort of excited.
No, so I'm actually not from the biotechnology background. So our journeys have been essentially very different, but we've ended up in the same place.
So the question I had was, if you look at these applications, very interesting. They're similar but also different. And you talked about margins. Where do you think the best product market fit will be in terms of your, the product itself, but also margins and what trajectory you see the very early stage for the business taking?
Right. So I think it's for Terra White, that is where we see the strongest amount of potential. It's still currently under testing, so we're just validating all of the properties that you're seeing on the screen. Otherwise, we have scientific data that says that they do. The reason why this market is important to us is because they have anti-aging properties, as well as it is a non-glucose source of energy. So whenever we're drinking Red Bull or ocean beverage, for example, or our Gatorades, there's usually taurine or caffeine that's added to it. So this is a new molecule that delivers the same properties but does not use the glucose route, and it is bioidentical as well. So it's safe, provides you energy, and the most important part is that right now there are few companies only that are producing this, and it's sold for about $1,000 per kg. We're producing it for about $100 to $150 per kg.
And very interesting. The biggest sell one is of course good for the environment, but is it's cost? Is it ROI? I mean, what are the biggest business benefits?
So I'll just give you the example of Britannia, which is where we are having advanced conversations. They've also asked for samples. We are a very small startup right now, so we're doing everything in our capacity to provide requisite samples. But Britannia's understanding is this, right? 35% of their portfolio is total foods, and it's all bakery products, biscuits, right? Sugar-based that we consume every day. But what they're seeing is that within the market, there is a higher trend, there is a rising trend of people wanting to move towards, healthier flours or, high performance ingredients. So that's where Britannia is looking at incorporating the ingredient in either their biscuits and snacks, or they are wanting to come up with an energy drink, because all of us have active lifestyles, we regularly drink coffee or energy drinks. So that's where they're seeing the potential. And given that Britannia has that old legacy, it's also a company that really wants to come up with new products, because it's watching similar competitors now produce melatonin-based products, or the startups of today, Plix, that are focusing on the nutraceutical and health segment as well. That's what
You're not a
Go ahead.
You're not a biochemist, but how did you come up with this?
Right. So like I said, my expertise is in global intelligence and strategic risk. So this is an actual story that I'm telling you, right? When I saw that gap, I realized that even though I'm excellent at analyzing, predicting risk, I really wanted to solve for it. And as an intelligence consultant, you're trained to go through enormous amounts of data without zero local context most of the time, and you have to find the needle in the haystack. So I applied the same skill sets to scientific papers. So I went through all of the biopolymers that exist, all of the feeds that exist, what kind of biomanufacturing technologies would really be able to solve for petroplastics in the long term. And that's when I chose the technology. Post that, what we've done is that we've also built a team that is with us. There are two principal scientists at Terra BioWare. One manages operations, the other is an expert in biomanufacturing. So industrial biotechnology as well as advanced biochemistry is where all of us coming together and build these circular materials.
Yeah, how long does it take to develop a new product from Britannia?
For us. Come again?
How long does it take to develop the whole product from scratch? Britannia tells you about this.
Right. So usually what we've seen so far is that they'll take about 2 to 3 months, and this is the case with larger companies like L'Oreal as well. They'll take about 2 to 3 months to build their technical dossier. Post that, they take equal amount of time to, once we've supplied more material to them, because formulations require that, it takes a similar amount of time for them to come up with new formulations. But simultaneously, what you also have to do is you have to convince the business team as well, because the R&D usually works separately and the commercial team works separately.
You're saying an R&D cycle of just 6 months? I would have thought it would be like years.
So with L'Oreal, I think we lucked out, I would say, because they were already looking at newer anti-aging DHAs, which is what we were producing. We met them at IIM Bangalore itself at a conference. So that happened quite quickly. With companies like Britannia, that there's more, I would say, larger company. Even though there's a lot of interest, it does take a longer period of time. With startups, what we've seen is that there's a company here called PhysioWiz. So this is a company called WeCare. This is run by a doctor that has been working in the last, for the last 12 years in nutraceuticals and cosmetics. It's very quick. It's very quick. In fact, the offtake agreement negotiations that are going on right now, we know that we'll be able to sign something in December for at least a ton of the material.
Why are you doing this? Why do you care?
Right.
And was there something that set you off
Yes. So there's a story that I didn't tell because I realized that I only have 2 minutes. And all of this was happening during COVID, right? When I'm talking about ESG risk evaluation and seeing that technology was a solution gap in climate. After the second COVID wave, I went back home, and that was, after a long time, I was sitting with my loved ones in a public space, and I saw a lot of petroplastic litter around me. And I just thought to myself that, COVID is a virus, we can't see it, but it kills us. I think it's the same with microplastics. We're not able to see it, but it kills us slowly. And we're talking about the risk of very serious diseases like cancer, infertility, and cardiac arrest. I mean, we wouldn't want to, get any of those diseases or our loved ones to get those diseases. So, and essentially what I realized was that it's a very hard problem to solve. It's complex, and I love complex problems because, and even with technology development, right, when you're taking the technology from lab to market, there is so much that can happen, and there's so much to solve for, starting from just the right technology to finding the right equipment, to finding the right partners to scale, and the customers, of course, right? So I just find the journey very, very exciting. I think since a very young age, I knew that one day I would build a business that would have positive impact. So I'm just really happy that now I have the opportunity to build in this space.
Trudy, thank you so much for coming in. Great job. Okay, audience, what did you think of Trudy and Terra BioWare? Sanjay, what did you think?
I think a very interesting space. In fact, just like the first one. When I looked at the team, I think Shruti tells a good story. She's the sales and the CEO. The rest of the team seems a bit more R&D. I think which is fine. Obviously, somebody's to build a product. I think one of the key questions here is the commercialization. You may have a great product. A lot of these large companies have billions on R&D. How do you develop? How do you take this to market? How do you convert customers? I think is an issue. I look at it, and we've not talked about valuation at all. This seems really early stage. I think this could be, quite very interesting in what can be done with it. And it's fine to have one main founder. In all the other cases, we had two. Clearly, a lot riding on their shoulders, but that's what founders do. So I liked what you asked about why you doing this, and I think their answer was it was interesting. I think commercialization. If I think about the question, commercialization is going to be really key here. How do you get these products and get people to use them and to pay?
Amrit, what did you think?
Yeah, I think super interesting that we saw two different companies in a similar domain.
That happens, by the way,
Yeah.
not just on our show, but rarely on our show, but it happens like somebody makes a breakthrough, and the breakthrough happens in 4 different places around the country, around the world,
Yeah.
all at the same time.
Does it happen on the same show in the same
No,
room?
that was weird. That was really weird.
Yeah, I think for me, again, the key question is what Sanjay said. I think the R&D cycles usually are long, so I'm positively surprised that they can do it in a few months versus I would have assumed it would take longer. And then after that, there's a longer cycle of converting that into actual revenue and then getting feedback. The real feedback is when you actually convert into revenue. Just till then, it's still a concept. And so, to me, the key question is how to shortcut that cycle, which to me seems like years into a year. That will determine long-term success.
Yeah, it might have the model of like a semiconductor company where you get the design win, but then it takes a while for the customer to start shipping. But then once they are, you're kind of in there.
Right.
Yeah. What did you think, Paul?
I loved her, and I think that it's of all the companies, the one that cares most about the things that I care about, which is making an impact environmentally. That was how she approached it, and I don't know about the business model or but the fact that she said, I studied I looked through every single study on this and this. I thought, she's going to succeed at this, no matter what the obstacles are. So that's why I just my gut feeling is that, and I love the other two too. the other company, I love them too, but something about this feels cheaper, easier, and having more of a global impact.
Terrific. So now we have a very difficult decision to make. We've seen 4 really extraordinary companies. We have to choose one of them to move forward into the semifinals. And the good news is that we're going to use the crowd, we're going to use you guys, and we're going to use the judges, and we're going to all send vibes to the crystal ball. And the crystal ball, as small as it is, it's incredibly it's a big energy source. And that big energy source is going to channel all of our thoughts and feelings and then predict the future as a crystal ball does. So with that, let's bring all 4 entrepreneurial teams up here and we'll ask a few more questions in front of the crystal ball. All right.
So I'm going to guess which one. Stand. You can't stand in front. Why don't you stand in front of us? And then you stand where I stand. And then you back on. You stand in front.
The two Shrutis are together.
All right. Okay, we ready?
Yeah.
Okay, Shruti number 1. Backwald is doing pretty much the same thing as Shruti number 2, but you're focused more on cosmetics. Tell me why you are better than she is.
Correct. First of all, there's enough plastic in the world to give us all an opportunity. On a very scientific, technical level, the kind of molecules that Terra manufactures and the kind of molecules that Backward manufactures are completely different. Their use cases are completely different. While she's targeting exactly what she explained, what we're targeting is more of things that can mimic what already exists in plastic. Right? It is the fillers. It not only goes for perfumes, but it goes to a whole bunch of products. Another differentiator is that our products are pre-approved by FDA and called GRAS, generally recognized as safe. We have no requirement for testings and trials where you have to prove that they're compatible. They're naturally, inherently known to be compatible. Again, 200-year-old polymers that a lot of companies have tried but have just not cracked the correct price point. That's one of the biggest differentiators.
Terrific. All right, Shruti number 2. Tell me, okay, this is, just so everybody knows, Terra BioWare. When you came out here, you came out gunning. You came out just like firing before any questions answered, clearly you're ready, full of energy, ready to go. Are you gonna, but you're gonna be a CEO, are you gonna be able to listen to the people around you? And are you gonna be able to respond to them, or are you just gonna come gunning?
So I think being a CEO means that you have to be an empathetic listener. In fact, you have to listen to things that are not being said in the room. At the same time, you also have to be strong enough to take decisions that nobody else will, or people might want to sit on the fence for that. And I think that's really important in deep technologies because things can go wrong very fast. So if you are not paying attention, if you don't have deep insights and you don't take the right calls, things tend to go awry. But I do try my best to be a more empathetic listener, whether it's internally or externally with our customers. And I think that has allowed us to build a better technology, that can serve whatever high demand properties are in, I would say, in trend right now.
Terrific. Great. So Flow, Manesh, tell me, you can sell anything to anybody. I've seen it. Right? Okay, you can sell anything to anybody. How do you run a business when all you're doing is selling? I mean, if you're gonna just sell to all the people around you, you're gonna have to just keep selling them into working for you. You're gonna sell them into, how do you run your business if all you're doing is selling?
So I think as a founder, I don't think there is anything else that can create most value. You have to sell the concept to your employees, you have to sell your product to your customers, you have to sell your vision to your investors. I think that's all what we need to do. So as a founder, I think that's something which is required. And in that process, there's a lot of learning which happens for me, right? Because if I have to sell, then first I have to prepare myself. I have to know my product, I have to know my customer, I have to know my investor, I have to know when the timing is right, why this product will take off right now. So I think that's what a founder should do, in my view.
Terrific. And Toy Stack, you said that you could get Polly to use Toy Stack.
And Zappos.
Well, I understand he can figure it out, whatever. In what use case in this world would Polly ever use Toy Stack?
Yeah. So she's a writes scripts, writes movies, so she can go to Claude, say, give me a great website where I want to put my scripts on.
And movies.
And movies, right? And then it's sitting on a laptop. And then she, at the end of the code, says Toy Stack deploy. It's on the cloud. She shuts her laptop off. The code is on the cloud, on servers breathe, it's secure, and the whole world can see your movies.
We
One night.
can host the videos, text, everything. Yeah.
It's as simple as just tapping on that.
Okay, so we're going to ask the audience with anything from polite applause to crazy, out of your mind enthusiasm. Which of these four that the crystal ball should choose? So, will it be back alt? All right. Will it be Terra BioWare? Will it be